Hello, my name is Maria Jose Burciaga and I am a student at Tech Milenio, and today I'm going to talk about Cold War. Cold War was an ongoing political rivalry between the United States of America and the Soviet Union and their respective allies after World War II. And we're going to start with what the term Cold War refers. It refers to it because the US and the Soviet Union forged many tensions and arrived several times at the edge of the confrontation after World War II. They never faced directly from the military point of view, even though both were the only supermilitary powers with nuclear capabilities. They were big rivals. So, now we're going to talk about something very important that defined the Cold War. Basically, so it's the economic system and how it works. The first one here is capitalism, which is the system that proposes that the means of productions are privately owned by making the production of goods by means of companies adhere to supply and demand. The biggest exponent of capitalism was Adam Smith. And now we're gonna go to socialism. Socialism is the political and social ideology that proposes society should be in charge of the production of material goods. It is characterized by the fact that private property does not exist, but collective property is used here, making the decision about goods planned and centralized. So basically, everything is for everyone. Now, well, I'm saying that it defined the Cold War because each country, the US believed in capitalism and the USSR didn't. And that's what started the whole confrontation and the whole conflicts and what led to the Cold War. Now, I'm going to talk about the interview that I did. I did it to my grandpa. His name is Jose Luis de la Fuente, and he's 74 years old. So he lived throughout the whole Cold War. So, what were the world leaders during the period? Well, obviously the stars of the Cold War, which were the USA and Russia, or the USSR, Soviet Union. Why did countries who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards? Because the different ways of organizing the country, since, well, as I've explained before, the United States was into capitalism and the USSR wasn't. Where did the Cold War take place? It took place in the USA and Europe, Russia. What opinion did the general public have to say about the Cold War? Well, a lot of people thought it was, after World War II. I would understand that a lot of people thought it was meaningless and just a silly conflict between two countries, but just to show which country was better than the other. But at the end, they realized that it wasn't like that because it brought many consequences and not in the good way. It affected negatively mostly. So I guess they realized afterwards. What type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal? Well, obviously, nuclear bombs, that's when it started, guns, many explosive devices such as bombs, and other devices that he couldn't name. Obviously, agents all over the world, to know and to hear everything about each other. And that was my interview. Now, as a conclusion, we can conclude that the World War was a decades-long struggle. It lasted around 46 years, for global dominance, pitting a capitalist America against a communist Soviet Union. So, two different ideas and systems against each other. Although there is some disagreement about when World War began, mid to late 1945, it is widely regarded as a time when relationships between Moscow and Washington began to deteriorate. Soon after World War II, as I've mentioned many times before, this deterioration engendered the early Cold War and set the stage for a dynamic struggle, often tinged with myths of good and evil. So everyone had their opinions about it. Obviously, each country or each side thought they were right and they had the biggest power, the reason. Um, but I guess it's just from a very, very personal point of view. So that will be it from me. I hope you understood a little bit more about Cold War. I personally enjoyed a lot this presentation since from making it, and I also enjoyed explaining it to you and getting to understand a little bit more about it and what was happening in the world throughout that period of time. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much. Here are my references, and I'll see you soon.